Hello, welcome to lesson 15 of our music classes. My name is Miriam Ejim, and I'll be taking you through this topic, the construction of major scales 4. That's the key D major. We'll be looking at how to run the scale and the key signature in both treble and bass clef. So before we go on to today's topic, we'll just go back on a brief summary of what we did from last class. So we talked about the construction of G major scale in ascending and descending order, and we also applied the rule of the major scales, that's tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So you were taught that the G major scale runs from G to G octave. That's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and then G. So that's how to run the scale in ascending order. And in descending order, you come down from G, F sharp, E, D, C, B, A, G. So we also apply the rule that is between each of the notes. You have to apply this rule in that order: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So while writing the notes out, you have to apply this order, and we'll look at it in details in this topic as well. In this class, our learning objectives will cover what a D major scale is, the rule of major scales. We'll learn how to construct the D major scale, and we'll also replicate that for both the treble and the bass clefs. What is a D major scale? As the name implies, it's a scale that begins and ends on D. So we have D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then D. Now, this is one of the keys in the sharp series because you have the accidental sharp at F and C. And this is so to meet the rule of a major scale. So on the next slide, we'll look at the rule of a major scale. Now, in constructing major scales, there is a rule to always follow. Now, this is because without following this rule, you would not be able to get a perfect major scale. Now, the rule is that between each of the notes, it has to go in the order of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's between the first and the second notes, it has to be a tone. The interval between them has to be a tone. Between the second and the third notes, the interval between them has to be a tone. Between the third and the fourth notes, the interval between them has to be a semitone. Between the fourth note and the fifth notes, the interval between them has to be a tone. Between the fifth and the sixth, the interval between them has to be a tone. Between the seventh and the sixth and the seventh, the interval has to be a tone, and between the seventh and the eighth notes, the interval between them has to be a semitone. Now, this would mean that we're taking whole step, that's for a tone, and half step for a semitone. So when you run the scale of the D major or any major scale, you have to take note of this order because it has to follow this order for the scale to be correct. So on the next slide, we'll look at an example of it. So we'll be constructing the D major scale in ascending order without key signature. Now, you would have learned that key signatures are, either the accidentals on the stave that tells you the key you're playing on. So for this, we already know the key, which is the D major scale, because it has two sharps. Now we have one sharp at F and the other at C. Remember I said to meet the order of the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That's why those sharps are there. Now, ordinary on a neutral scale, which is the C major scale, there are no sharps and there are no flats, no accidentals. That's because the C major scale meets that order of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So on this one, as we look at the scale, while running the scale, you would see why we should actually sharpen F and C. So we'll take it from the lines and spaces of the treble stave. We know that we have D on this at the space before the first line. So we start from there and run it, as in ascending order. Remember, ascending order. So we have D, E. Between D and E is a tone. Between E and F originally is a semitone. So we have to sharpen F. Now, what does sharp do to the notes it is placed against? So it raises the tone by half step. So if originally the step between E and F is a half step, sharpening F means that we're adding another half step to make it a whole step. That's make it a tone. So D and E, between them is a tone. E and F sharp is another tone. So remember the rule: tone, tone, semitone. So between F sharp and G originally was a tone, but because we sharpened F, it has reduced the interval between F sharp and G to a semitone. So between F sharp and G is a semitone, and that meets the order or the rule. And then between G and A is originally a tone, so there's no sharp in any of those notes. So G and A is fine, is a tone. A and B is also fine, is a tone. B and C originally is a semitone. That's why we had to sharpen C to add another semitone to make it a tone to meet the rule of a major scale. So we see between B and C sharp is now a tone, and then because of that, between C sharp and D is now a semitone. So in that way, we're able to construct the D major scale to meet the rule of major scales, which is a tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. And if you sing it, it actually goes, because when you don't sharpen it while you're singing, it will not give you, it will not strike on the right sound. So you have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If we've not sharpened it, it will not go smoothly. You'll be having some flattened notes, because between E and F sharp, E and F is a tone, is a semitone, which is supposed to be a tone in the D major scale. So let's look at another example um, to see another way to present this major scale. So we're moving on to construct D major scale, still in ascending order, but now with key signature. The previous example was without key signature, and with key signature means the sharps are placed beside the treble clef. If you look at the previous example, the sharps were placed um, against the notes that they sharpened, but here the sharps are placed beside the treble clef. So just after the clef, you have the key signature, and then you have the scale and that is run on the stave. So looking at it, we still follow the same order: tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So just the way we did the last one, it's still the same thing: D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then D octave. The only difference is that this one has a key signature, meaning that it has the sharp, placed after the treble clef. So while representing on a stave, if you're asked to place it with a key signature, to run the D major scale in ascending order with key signature on the treble clef, this is how to represent it, because here you can see the key signature, you can see the treble clef, and then you can see the scale that is being run. So we'll look at another example on the next slide. So this is slightly different from what we've been looking at on a previous slide. So here we're going to construct the D major scale in descending order without key signature on the treble, with the treble clef on the treble stave. So here we see the treble clef, and then we see the notes running in descending order. So on the stave, on the treble stave, we have D on the fourth line of the stave. For the treble clef, we have the D on the fourth line. So starting from the fourth line, we're going to go down. So in descending order, as the word implies, descending order. So we're going to go from D to C sharp to B to A to G to F sharp to E, and then D. Now remember that in descending order, we do not use the rule of major scales. So you cannot say, oh, let me apply the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, because this is descending order. Now you will always see scales run in ascending order. You will always see scale in musical pieces. You always see scale run in ascending order if they are to present a scale. But in music, you can have the musical notes placed in where you have to count backward, that's descending order, to know what notes you're about to sing, or you have to count it forward, that's ascending order. So in any of the cases, we want to stick to the rule of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone in the ascending order. So while we are representing this in descending order, we would not alter the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone that we have represented in the ascending order, because it will no longer, it will no longer present this as a major scale. So if you look at this, we still have our C sharp where it is, and we still have our F sharp. So all we are doing is we're just turning the scale upside down, I would say, or from back to front. So we're going in descending order. So it still remains D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, and then D. So we're going do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So in that order, but it still remains the rule still remains. So this, what's different with this one is that the key signature is placed by the note that is sharpened. So if you look at the stave while running the scale, C sharp has the sharp placed by the notes, and F sharp has the sharp placed by its notes to show that it was sharpened there. So we'll look at another example with the key signature. On this, we have a D major scale that is constructed in ascending order with key signature on the bass clef. We've been looking at the treble clef so far, so now we're looking at the bass clef. Now for the bass clef, the lines and spaces have a different name, and the letter D can be found on the third line while running the scale. So we start on the third line, and then we would ascend. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, and then D. If you notice that C sharp and D are outside the stave, and that's why we applied ledger lines to accommodate C and D, because they are too high for the bass stave. So, and also for this presentation, we see that it has the key signature. So after the bass clef, we have the key signature and then the notes. So this is how to run, how to construct the D major scale in ascending order with key signature on the bass clef. So in ascending order, it follows the rule of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. We'll see another example on the next slide. So this presentation is different from the previous one because this is the D major scale in descending order without key signature on the bass stave. So we have the bass clef, and after that we do not have the key signature, but this key signature, that's the sharps, are placed against the notes of which is sharpened. So we have D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, and then D. So remember I said that you do not alter the arrangement to meet the order in when you're representing it in descending order, because we already followed the rule of major scale while representing it in the ascending order. So this is just more like running it backwards, so everything still remains the same. We're just running it backwards. And if you look at this stave, the D and C are represented by ledger space and a ledger line to accommodate those notes because they are too high for the bass stave. So we'll go on to the next slide. So we've come to the end of our class today, and this would be a take-home assignment or a classwork. So here you're going to be constructing a D major scale using the following instruction. So it's the same thing we've done so far. I just want to see how well you understand the construction of the D major scale. So the first one will be on the treble stave in descending order with key signature. Now you're going to show the later names of the notes, like for example D, E, F, and so on. You're going to show the sulfur notation. So we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then the major scale rule of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. So this you're going to place it where it applies on the scale, just the way I represented it while in the previous slide. So the same with the number 2 and then number 3, and those ones will be on the bass stave. If you have any questions, or if you do not understand or you want further explanation, please reach out to me via my email address that would be presented on the last slide. To summarize what we've learned so far, we talked about the D major scale in both the treble and the bass staves, which consist of still 7 notes and an octave, making it 8. So we have D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. So this runs with sharps at F and C. And this is to accommodate the tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone rule. So this is all we've talked about today, and try the assignment to see how it's applied on this stave. Our next topic would be the construction of major scales 5. That's key F major. We're looking at the scale, how to run the scale, and key signature in both the treble and the bass clef. So for further reading, you can consult the ABRSM First Steps in Music Theory book, and also the Theory of Music workbook for Trinity College London, written written by Naomi Yandel. So for further reading, like I said earlier, if you have any questions, please reach out to me on my email that is on the slide. Thank you, and see you in next class.